In this video, we are taking a look at the medium range forecast as there are multiple chances for snow, flooding, and severe weather as we wrap up February and head into March. We're going to track and analyze these storms in depth so you can see exactly how the weather is going to affect you. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast, and it's official. I'm ready for spring. I'm a snow lover, and I know we got a lot of snow lovers subscribed to this channel, but I mean, just admit it, guys. Aren't you ready for some 75-degree weather? The smell of the dew point rising, storms in the distance, the thunder sound, the electricity in the air. Aren't you ready for that? Well, I'll tell you what, I am, and this radar image has got me excited because this is the least amount of snow I've seen around here in the lower 48 in a while. Check this out. We've got two areas of interest. First off, we're up here in the northeast. We've got a little area of snow moving through upstate New York, and a little bit of it's mixing in down into Pennsylvania as well, maybe near Scranton. This will continue to move east, and Albany expect to get a couple flakes out of this, nothing too substantial. But once it moves past the New York border over here into Massachusetts and Vermont, New Hampshire, and Connecticut, I do believe it will start to dissipate. It won't be much of anything at all for you guys, so don't worry about this, okay? Our second area of precipitation's over here in North Dakota, South Dakota into Minnesota. It's pretty much rain south of I-94, but north of I-94 and west of the I-29 corridor, we have some moderate to heavy snow showers in North Dakota. Now, this is a clipper, okay, and it's going to move east and intensify and bring some decent snow to northern areas of Minnesota, the upper peninsula of Michigan, into Ontario, and then eventually the northeast. All right, let's start taking a look at the future on the weather models, but first, that little clipper that we just looked at, I wanted to give a real brief update on that. Looks like snow totals will be confined to this area right here, and it looks like a narrow band of 2 to 4 inches is possible. It kind of weakens a little bit here in Minnesota, but once we get back into Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan, 2 to 4 inches with embedded areas of 5 inches possible. It does ramp up here once it gets into Ontario and a little bit of Quebec there, but once it gets back into the northeast into Maine and northern areas of Vermont and New Hampshire, once again, 2 to 4 inches. This is a small system. Okay, let's look actually into the future on the Euro model now. Let's see what that old weather pattern's got in store for us. Let's put it into motion. There's our clipper right there. A 1002 millibar low pressure system moving towards Maine. There it goes. And the next area to watch is this little disturbance over here, along with our bubbling up, our little insurgence of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico down there in Texas. Check it out. They are going to converge and a little bit of something tries to form. This is no big snowstorm. In fact, this is no big storm, but there are some showers and thunderstorms forming here in Texas and Oklahoma, and a little bit of warming up happening here as that ridge is trying to budge north just a little bit. We still got dominating high pressure in place to the north here, so we don't have to worry too much about that. And in fact, that's going to help bring maybe some snow mixing in on the northern side of this storm system on Friday, February 26th. This is at 4 a.m. So maybe Arkansas, maybe you're not done with the snow. I know Arkansas, I know you want to be done with the snow. Arkansas has been snow empire, baby, and they're ready to thaw out, but there's another shot at some snow maybe on the 26th of February. And then we've got heavy rain moving into northern Alabama, Georgia, into Tennessee. And once that hits the mountains, of course, we'll see in the upper elevations and the higher elevations some snow showers mixing in Virginia and West Virginia. And then once that moves further into the northeast, the interior regions of New England here and upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, you guys will see some snow showers out of this. Once again, nothing too crazy. But notice back here how we're still seeing rain and thunderstorm activity all the way into February 28th. I talked about this yesterday. If you live from the Red River region all the way into Arkansas, Mississippi, and to Tennessee, right around in this area right here, I do think that if you live in a flood-prone area, let's go ahead and start getting prepared for the possibility of some, scattered flooding issues as we go into the latter part of February, because we're entering this period where there's a boundary setting up right here between warm air and cold air. You can still see we've got that cold air up here, and we've got spring trying its best to creep up through the Gulf of Mexico down here, and along that boundary, we're going to see rounds of showers and thunderstorms just training over the same areas here. So I do believe we might have some issues with flooding. Let's keep pushing this forward, and as you can see, the rain just keeps going on. And then on March 2nd, it's possible that we get an actual storm forming up. Look at this, a 997 millibar low pressure system forming on the eastern side of Nebraska. And looky there on the backside, we've got some cold air coming down, and that's going to allow for possibly some very heavy snowfall in northern Nebraska and southern South Dakota. And as we push that forward, you can see that actually turns into a little bit of a snowstorm there for Minnesota and Wisconsin and maybe maybe even into the upper peninsula of Michigan with a 998 millibar low pressure system. And there it goes. Look at that. Moving into Ontario now. And once again, that does affect the northeast, but it looks like most of like Pennsylvania and New York's going to stay all rain. But check this out. We've got our low pressure system over here. We've got a secondary one down here. More than likely what we're going to see is a transfer of energy over to the Atlantic Ocean, because this is what happens when we have a very warm Atlantic Ocean. It steals all of our storms. But check this out. Another low pressure system does form down here off the coast of Maryland. According to the Euro, it starts off as a 979 millibar low pressure system, and that runs up the coast and turns into a full-on blizzard for Maine and Vermont. Look at this. Is that a 963 millibar low pressure system off the coast of Maine, bringing blizzard conditions to Portland, Maine, all the way into areas of Quebec? Yeah, that would be a very intense storm for the extreme northeastern region of the United States. But this is 228 hours out, okay? You're in Maine and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in Snowtown, baby. Don't get too excited just yet, all right? This is just one model run. We don't have any ensemble support just yet, but it is something we gotta keep our eye on. And there goes, it continues. It kind of just sits there, it bombs out. The last frame of the Euro on March 4th, 2021. Once again, we're looking at a blizzard possibly up here in extreme northeast regions of the United States into Quebec and maybe all the way up into New Brunswick. But the most imminent threat that I see on the Euro is the flooding potential. Look, as I fast forward here, look at all that rain and thunderstorms that's going on in Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. I mean, just look at the continuous inundation of moisture over that area. And another cool feature we have with the Euro is the instantaneous flash rate. Basically shows us where lightning strikes can occur in these storms. Check it out. Per model run, you can actually differentiate where the heavy rain showers are going to be and where the normal rain showers are going to be. Obviously, if we've got a dense area of lightning strikes possible, that's going to be a stronger thunderstorm, which means more rain. So as you can see, as I put this forward into motion, we've got thunderstorms, possibly strong thunderstorms, training over the same areas for hours and hours and possibly days as we go forward into the future. Okay, let's take a look at some precipitation totals here. We're going to start off with rain, and right here around February 25th is when the heavy rain really starts to come in for the south and southeast. Watch it really pile up. There we go. We get that second wave, and then boom. We're talking about possibly up to 6 to 8 inches of rain embedded in this really dark red shade here. Once again, for areas of Oklahoma, Arkansas, western Tennessee, northern Alabama, southeastern Tennessee, this whole area right here needs to be on the outlook for flooding as we go forward. Now, if we look at snowfall for the whole run, no longer do we see heavy snow in Texas. Even our insane amounts of snow that we've been seeing all season, we are a little light on the snow here according to the Euro. We do have that area of heavier snow up here thanks to that storm that we saw. And then we have our extremely heavy area of snow up here in Maine. because of the blizzard, which, you know, obviously we don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you can see what's happening here. The areas where snow is possible is slowly increasing to the north. Now, does this mean that winter's over? Does this mean I've changed my mind? Absolutely not. Once again, if you live in this area over here, March is historically the snowiest period of time for us, because every once in a while we'll get an insane snowstorm that drops a foot or two on this area. But you got to remember that those are rare events, all right? And they happen despite the fact that we're warming up, okay? Obviously, in March, we are going to warm up, but that does not mean that there will not be any more snow. All right, let's take a look at the GFS, the global forecasting system, and see what she says. Now, let's watch our little system down here. I wouldn't necessarily call this a storm, but it's a little bit of something, bringing some moderate to heavy rainfall to Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, all the way into the Carolinas there. And here comes our secondary clipper, a 997 millibar low pressure system in Ontario, bringing some snow to the Great Lakes possibly, and then yes, it will eventually also affect the northeast. Notice how we still have a consistent area of rain down here in the south, but we don't have any snow on the north side like we did on the Euro. And we've got a big storm system now forming in the Midwest. We've got a 985 millibar low pressure system bringing down a line of possibly strong to severe thunderstorms with it. This looks like a pretty significant threat for severe weather right here. So once again, we're looking for patterns. What we're looking at here is not a forecast, okay? We're dissecting and analyzing forecast models. And then as we push it forward, here we are. We're way out now. We're 330 hours out, but we do have another very strong storm system forming right here in Texas. Once again, the patterns that we found is snow up here, rain down here, maybe severe weather over here. Those are the main areas that we need to watch as we go forward. All right, that's all the weather talk I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you slap a like on it, hit that subscribe button, and turn notifications on because we're going to keep tracking these storms all the way out through the spring. There's a link in the description for all my social medias: Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. Follow me on all of them, why don't you? And let's stay in touch. And I'll see you next time, all right? Goodbye.